You are listening to the Retina UK online West Midlands local peer support group meeting recorded Tuesday, 23rd of August 2022.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our third Retina UK West Midlands online local peer support group. My name is Mark Baxter. I am the Information and Support Coordinator for Retina UK. We host a series of support services with Retina UK, and two of them are which I control are our local support groups across the UK, including a national group where anybody can attend, regardless of where you are in the UK, and also our talk and support befriending service as well. They're two of the services that I help support. I am not only a member of staff living with sight loss, I also have retinitis pigmentosa, which I was diagnosed when I was 9 years old. So I'm also a member of the sight loss community. So it's very important to liaise with you guys in the sight loss community, especially if you've got an inherited sight loss condition. We're all in it together to help and support each other. That's why I enjoy hosting these meetings with the facilitation support of Perm, who I will now pass over to Perm Batchu, who is the facilitator for our West Midlands group. Welcome, Perm, and thank you very much for supporting this meeting this evening.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good evening to you as well, Caroline.
Hiya.
First, Caroline's actually Mark's support worker and also his wife, so I always like to include her. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting, and especially for the ones who are joining us for the first time. Absolutely brilliant across the country, and welcome. And I hope you can actually join us for future meetings in the future. My name is Pam Batchu, as Mark said, facilitator for the West Midlands group. I also have sight loss. I'm new to it in the last couple of years. I have what we got RP, and it's USH2A, which is my defective gene, and it could affect my hearing. Now, I'd like to introduce you to our guest tonight. Totally, eternally grateful to them, and their backstory is absolutely amazing. And I actually got to know them through another charity that I'm with locally. And leaving no kind of stone unturned, I'd like to introduce you to Mo and Omar Iqbal, and also the company called Taira Technology. Over to you, gentlemen. Thank you
very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you for that very kind introduction, Perm. Yeah, my name is Omar Iqbal, and I'm here with my brother Mo Iqbal, and we're from a company called Taira Technology Limited. And for those of you who don't know, at Taira Tech, we provide products, services, advice, and training to visually impaired and blind people, both in this country and internationally as well. And before we explain our products and services in a bit more detail, I just wanted to talk a bit about our background really and why we got started as a business. So for those of you who don't know, we're a family run business, and the journey with us really started when my brother Mo lost his sight. And growing up, I saw how difficult it was for him as a completely blind person to use technology. Whenever we needed help or support, we'd often help each other. We'd also work through the problems that he'd faced with equipment. And so this led us to understanding a lot about how braille equipment worked, and assistive technology in general.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention at this point that I am totally blind. My eye condition is retinopathy of prematurity, ROP for short, and Omar is fully sighted. So we sort of complement each other, don't we, really, as we, in the business, because I'm sort of helping out on a sort of voluntary basis with all the access side of things. And, as Omar will shortly explain, when he started the business when he was at uni, it was, we were sort of pushed into it, weren't we, really, by we needed to help friends and that kind of thing as our knowledge grew.
It was quite interesting because it started off as Mo and I as teenagers, trying to work out how to work through different bits of equipment. Why wouldn't this talk? And I'd often ask, act as Mo's eyes in many respects, and we'd try and figure it out. And, we kind of, in a way, learned about all these bits of technology. And whenever Mo from friends from school and college, they had problems with their pieces of tech, we'd work through those problems with them. And they said, it'd be fantastic if you actually turn this into a proper business. So while I was at my second year at university, and as word spread and demand increased for our services, while I was doing my degree in computer science at university, we set up a business with the support of our mother, who's called Taira, and who's the name of the business essentially. And we named the business after her because we often get questions about that, because, really she sat down with us at the start, helped us talk to all these, accountants and business people, to get started. And without her help and expertise and support, really, the business wouldn't exist. And so we thought it was quite a fitting name. So that's
she's still a very integral part of the business, even now, really. We're very much a family run firm, and that's what sets us apart, really, because we all sort of work together. She's been a manager all her life basically, and she's with her wealth of experience, it really is fantastic to run the company the way we do.
Fantastic. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we offer. We usually do demonstrations and things, but we were asked to do an audio presentation today, so we're going to be telling you what we offer verbally. So one of the first things that we offer is TVonics and Goodman's television box sales, repairs and upgrades. And what that basically means is there were set-top boxes that you can use to plug into television in order to access television in an easier way with audio description and talking menus. And these boxes were called the TVonics box and the Goodman's box. Many of you probably remember when R&IB sold these devices. And so we have sort of taken over as a company the repair and maintenance of these boxes. So if those boxes break down or there's any problems at all with them, we're the company to come to sort those pieces of equipment out. They're still very, very popular. Nearly every week we continue to sell, TVonics boxes in particular, because they are fantastic. They enable you as a completely blind person to access television. And it really, really is a great device. So if you do have those devices, we can help and support you with that. We also offer general product sourcing, advice, repairs, and upgrades. So if you are looking to have a piece of equipment repaired, say a mobile phone for the blind, like a blind shell or a CAPSES, braille displays, embossers, anything like that, and it's been sat in the corner of a room for a while, broken. Because we've dealt with so much equipment over the years ourselves, we can often bring those pieces of equipment back to life. And so, that's certainly something that we offer as well. We also offer training and support remotely, both in person and over the phone. And it's quite interesting, really, because in the wake of COVID, it was quite surprising how much we could get done over Zoom and over the phone, especially with people who needed help and support with technology. And so, we don't have to be in person with you. If you need software training with things like JAWS or NVDA or Windows Office, for example, like Microsoft Word, you need help with how to use an iPhone or an Android mobile phone, or a particular piece of assistive technology like a braille display or an embosser or a phone or a tablet, we can give you help and support on that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have purchased that product from us. You can pay for the training on a pay-as-you-go basis through us. So prices for training start from as little as £10 per 15 minutes of support. Or what a lot of people tend to do is, if they want to have regular training on how to use a particular piece of tech, they can subscribe to our monthly support packages. So how that works is you get a certain number of hours of support per month, and prices start from £20 a month for 1 hour, and they go up in increments. And there's no monthly contract either. You can cancel at any time. And the great thing as well as the training that you get, we also run events exclusively for monthly subscribers. We demo different products, things like how to use Amazon, how to use different iPhone apps, Windows apps. We recently, a few months ago, we did a presentation on new mobile phones that are available on the market now. So it is really worth having if you want that regular one-to-one tuition on a particular piece of tech, or you need regular support with something. Another thing that we offer is Braille transcription, both in the UEB and the older Braille standard as well. And we work with a variety of different companies. We've worked with theatres, charities, legal firms, freelance individuals, or individuals themselves who just need a Braille document transcribing. Another thing that we offer as well is something called a Taira Technology label printer. And that was basically something that I wrote for Mo. It's a program that you can use on a Windows computer. And essentially how it works is, the main problem that we had was, as a visually impaired person, it's often really difficult to print off an address label reliably and consistently through a computer. Using Microsoft Word templates, for example, the addresses are often printed at a slant, or they're printed in the wrong place, or, they're not in the correct position on the label. And so visually impaired people often have to rely on sighted assistants to handwrite on the label in pen, hoping that handwriting on the address will be legible to the postman. And the problem is, as well, sighted assistance isn't always available. And so I wrote Taira Technology Label Printer as a solution to that. And it lets you, as a visually impaired person, print address labels consistently, reliably, and on your own independently without any sighted help. And so the thing that the application can do is print on pre-printed articles for the blind labels, such as those sold by RNIB, and several blank label types of your choice, with the choice of your text as well. So we do square labels for sticking things on jam jars and things like that. And you can also specify as well certain headers. So if you are based, I know we haven't got people joining today who are based from abroad, but if you are based in America, for example, you can change the writing on the header to say free matter for the blind as opposed to articles for the blind, which is the UK version of that service. And the other thing as well is it has support for multiple address books. You can copy addresses between different labels. You can print off an entire address book all at once, which is really handy when you're sending out Christmas cards and newsletters in bulk. And you can also back up your addresses to Dropbox and OneDrive and things like that. So it's a really fantastic product. You can use it on 3 computers, and the label's always accurate. We make sure that they always conform to Royal Mail and RNIB guidelines for your parcel. So it has a higher chance of getting there rather than ending up somewhere, you might not want it to end up to. The other thing as well, so some people say is it's a subscription based. No, it's just a one-time thing. It's compatible with most inkjet and laser printers. So you don't need to buy anything special. It's just a pack of A4 label sheets that you can buy on Amazon. You put those into your printer and then you just select the label type. So the program at the moment costs £75 or £74.99, and we've got that offer on until the end of August. So this is last week where you get £10 off the usual price of £84.99. So £10 off. And you can also, if you go to our website, you can download a trial and also have a look at sample labels. So now I'm just going to hand over to Mobeen to talk a little bit about some of the other things that we offer as well, and more specifically about visually impaired equipment, so mobile phones and laptops and certain labeling devices as well. So I'll hand over to you, Mo.
Okay, so one thing that we offer in terms of products are pre-configured laptops and desktops. So if people are looking for a laptop and desktop, they're often not sure where to start. There's so much choice. Which size do you go for? Which operating system do you go for? Do you want to, go for a palm-sized desktop, a full-size desktop, a tower, a slimline one, a 17-inch laptop? We take the guesswork out of it all. What we tend to ask people is what they actually want from the machine, and then we tailor a solution to your needs. So we can get laptops, for example, that are pocket-sized and all the way up to 17 inches in size. Desktops that are palm-sized, and that isn't that's no joke, by the way. There literally are desktop computers that can fit in the palm of your hand now.
Yeah.
It's amazing how far technology's come, all the way up to the full-size towers, conventional towers that most of you might be used to. We can also source all-in-one computers, which means that everything is built into a screen. So the computer itself is built into a screen format. And the prices start from £300 upwards. And we include solid-state drives or SSD drives as standard with all our machines now.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't understand.
And just to say, sorry, that the prices include the device fully configured and talking with your software of choice, really. So speech packages, NVDA, and things like that. JAWS, for example.
That's right. Yeah, we pre-configure all our devices before dispatch.
Yeah.
And as I was saying about the hard drives, for those of you who don't know what a hard drive actually is, it's the device that stores all your data. And there are 2 types. The newer ones don't have any moving parts in them, and they cause your computer to start up a lot faster. So we use those as standard now. We've completely dropped support for the older ones. So you might be wondering, well, what makes you stand out from the high street? Well, it's a bespoke service, so it's not like buying off the high street. It's fully bespoke to you and your needs. And that's something we specialize in as a business. When we're recommending any of our products, we'll have a full chat with you, to find out which product is right for you.
Yeah,
So everything that we supply, whether it's a computer, a laptop, phone, it's fully set up before dispatch. So when it arrives with you, you're not wasting time trying to work out how the thing works or how to set it up. You're not wasting time reading through an instruction manual. Sorry, go on.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just going to say as well, because we know, because when we bought equipment in the past, the last thing you want to do is be, stuck with something that you don't understand or it's not fully set up for your needs. And so, another thing that we really like to do to go the extra mile is to label key areas with bump-ons. We also set up a accessible custom getting started guide for you on arrival. It's specifically written for your machine. So what Mo and I will do is look around the machine, tell you what's where, and more importantly as well, you can pick up the phone and get through to either one of us, and you've got that certain amount of hours there. Every product that we sell comes with 3 to 8 hours worth of support, depending on how much you need, and you can use that on your own time as well. You can break that up into 10 to 15-minute slots or hour-long sessions, whatever you really need, isn't it, Mo?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that we didn't mention earlier was the fact that Windows is fully customized. So a lot of people don't realize that there are options that need turning off in Windows when you're customizing for somebody who's visually impaired. We actually have a checklist of about 30 items that we go through. We turn off unnecessary items. We install all the programs of your choice so that everything's fully talking, whether it's Office, JAWS, NVDA, everything's fully set up bespoke for you. And as Omar said, each product comes with training on arrival. Something else that we offer is an item called the 6-dot label maker. So this item is actually an alternative to the Dymo gun that some of you might have seen supplied by RNIB. It's used to produce Braille labels, but it's an electronic Braille labeler. So it takes 6 AA batteries, or you can supply it, power it off the mains. And it uses an embossing head to print on 9mm tape. So that's what makes the Braille so pronounced with this device. So if you enjoy producing Braille labels, the tape is very sticky, and it can be used on items from your freezer or food items or CDs or whatever it might be. And it's not too big either. It measures 8 inches wide by 5 inches from front to back by just over 2.5 inches high. So it's not too bulky, but obviously it's something that you'd use on a desk basically. And it's got a Perkins style keyboard on the top of the device, so you can type in any grade of Braille that you want. Really, it just responds to your key presses. And it's got a cutting button as well, so you press that button to cut the tape, and it's also got 2 buttons to feed and retract the tape as well. And the buttons are very easy to press. I mean, the reason why I bought mine was because my hands were getting tired squeezing the Dymo gun, so it was getting really tedious for me to use it. So this thing, I just type in the Braille that I want. It's slower than me typing on a Dymo gun because it has to produce the Braille. So if you're looking for speed, you wouldn't really buy one of these. But if basically when you type in, let's say for example, I type in the word test, it remembers what you've typed, and it will just print it in its own time, obviously as fast as it can, and then you press cut, and it cuts the labels.
Yeah, and it's not particularly long. It's only a few seconds that you wait. And the other advantage as well is that the Braille is really, really pronounced. I mean, we went to Site Village one year and we had a side-by-side comparison between a Dymo gun and the 6-dot labeler, and it was just night and day. People just couldn't believe how sharp and clear the Braille dots were. It is a really, really fantastic device.
Yeah, exactly. And also, at the moment, unfortunately, they are having stock issues. They're catching up with manufacturing because of the worldwide component shortages, but they are getting back on track slowly. So if you are interested in buying one of those, we can take your name, and we can actually put one to one side when we can reserve one for you when we get stock. So by default, you actually get 10 rolls of tape when you buy one of these with a power adapter as well. And the price is £575 excluding VAT. And the tape rolls can be bought from us separately. We do them in packs of 10, and they're £29.99 for a pack of 10. So let's go on now to some of the mobile phones that we can source for people. So we can source Android phones and iPhones. We're impartial. So we have a lot of customers coming to us saying, okay, this is what I ultimately want to achieve. What device is on the market that can do what I want? So we can actually give them a choice, really. We say, right, you can either go down the Android and iOS route, we compare the operating systems, we go through the functions, and we can find a phone that works for you in your budget. And one accessory that we sell for making iPhones and iPads easier to use is called the Speed Dots Screen Protector. And this is a very ingenious cover that you can put on the screen of your device. It's also quite cheap as well. It's not expensive by any means. And it's a screen protector that you peel off, and it's a sticky back piece of see-through plastic. So it's just like a normal screen protector, but with dots on it. So if any of you ever felt clear plastic, the kind of stuff that you braille onto, it's a very similar feeling to that, except it sticks onto the screen of your phone. So if somebody sighted wants to help you, they still can, but you've got the dots on the screen to help you with key areas on the iPhone screen. So for example, there's a dot in the top left-hand corner on its own, which is back in most iOS apps. It's the back button. So when you find that dot, when you're in settings or contacts or phone or whatever app you're in, a lot of the time there'll be a back button where that dot is. So you can very quickly find, where the button is. The top right-hand corner has a few dots in there. So again, many apps on the iPhone will have buttons in the top right-hand corner. For example, in some apps, you might have an OK button. Other apps, it might be a search button. Other apps, it might be a My Account button. So having those dots there really helps to try and quickly get that top right-hand corner. Oh, yeah, there's the OK button. I'll double tap it. So there's no feeling around the screen. We see a lot of visually impaired people who run their fingers around the screen trying to feel, and all you get is this plinking noise from the iPhone for about half a minute while they try and find where the button is. I personally can't use my iPhone without one now. Well, sorry, correction, I can. I just don't like it.
It's just very difficult,
so,
isn't it? Yeah.
So for example, number 5, that has a dot on it. So if I describe the keypad, if you're using one of these covers, you would look for the number 5, which is in the middle of the screen, and below that, for example, they've left a gap for number 8, and below that there's a dot on the number 0. So orientation wise, you can very quickly move your hand. Let's say you're dialing 454, you find the number 5, move your finger to the left, and it's number 4. Ah, yeah, there's number 4. Move your finger up from number 5, it's number 2. So it's very quickly for you to orient yourself. And the keyboard also has markings on it. The only buttons that don't have markings are F and J. And if you're a touch typist, they've done that on purpose, so you know instantly where F and J are. So they do not have a dot on them, so you can instantly position your fingers. And it's also got markings for the dock area and the spacebar at the bottom as well. And they are, quite cheap. So $19.99 for an iPhone screen protector, and that comes with a getting started guide as well. Which is basically a description of what all the dots mean and how to apply it. And $39.99 is the cost for the ones for the iPad.
Yeah. The other thing I want to mention there as well, because I understand quite a lot of people struggle to put the screen protectors on their own. We also offer something where if you can send the phone in to us, we can actually apply that for you. And so then your iPhone's got that screen protector fitted, and then it's just sent back to you. We also offer a guide as well. A CD guide. So Mo has done a getting started guide on how to use the iPhone with the speed dots. So if you don't know how to use an iPhone and you want to learn how to use that, then there's that option as well. I forget the cost of the guide. What was that again, Mo?
So the cost for the iPhone
the audio guide, yeah,
the audio guide is $39.99, and that was a bunch of files that I recorded a while ago for a friend of mine, and we can supply those, as they are. We're going to be re-recording those in the future.
Yeah.
But at the moment, they are very relevant to current iPhones anyway, because iOS hasn't changed that much anyway.
No.
So a lot of the tips that we provided in those tutorials still stand. So we described, for example, how to take somebody from not having used an iPhone before to becoming quite proficient. And there are also various books you can buy online as well.
Yeah.
And various websites that are quite helpful. Apple have their own dedicated accessibility page now as well. So in the last part of the presentation, we're going to be talking about a very popular phone that we've been selling. It's been one of our best sellers, called the Blind Shell Classic 2. So this is the new phone that they've released about 6 or 7 months ago it was. So what we'll do is we'll talk about all the features that it offers, and then we'll take questions at the end from you guys as well. So the phone measures 13 centimeters long by 5.5 centimeters wide by 1.5 centimeters in thickness. So it's not a really thick phone, but it's just comfortable to hold in the hand, isn't it? I mean, it's just, it's a nice shape. And the speech on the phone uses Google Text to Speech. It's an Android mobile phone, and all the buttons on the phone have different markings on them. So it's important to mention that this phone is only controllable using buttons. There's no touchscreen on this phone, which a lot of people buy the phone for. They don't want any interaction with a touchscreen because a lot of our customers have motor impairments or limited eyesight, and they want a phone they can control exclusively with buttons. So, for example, they've put very pronounced markings on the number 5 key. The confirm button has a big circle on it. The back button has a diagonal marking on it. Up and down arrows, again, they have very distinct markings on them. And you literally need to memorize up, down, confirm, and cancel to use this phone. It's got a full numeric keypad on it as well. And all the buttons are raised as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, just to clarify, it is a fully talking phone. So every part of the interface is read out to you. So I know there are certain mobile phones where only part of the interface is speech and the other one you have to rely on your sight. It's not the case with that. You've got a screen where you can look at the screen if you want to, if you have that sight. Or that level of sight, but if you haven't, then you've got the option just to listen to the speech, and absolutely everything is read out, and that's what's so great about it. You don't have to rely on a touch screen; it's all button based.
That's right. So in terms of functions, because many of you will be curious, you can also, you can make and receive calls as you normally would. You can send and receive text messages. You can, save and retrieve contacts. You've got an alarm clock on there, so you can set and set multiple alarms or one single alarm per day. You've got a minute timer and a stopwatch as well. Calendar to track your daily appointments. Needless to say, every single one of these apps that we're going to mention are fully, supported by the speech. So none of these apps are going to be inaccessible for you when you're using them. You've got a notes app, so you can take text notes and also record voice notes as well. You've got a calculator, which is fully accessible. You can speed dial up to 10 contacts. So in other words, you can press and hold 1 and it will dial the person that you've assigned to that particular number. You've also got an SOS button on the back. So if you are in an emergency and you want to quickly call somebody, it works very similar to speed dial. So you can actually call the person by pressing and holding the button. And some of you might be wondering, well, you've covered the basics. What about advanced functions? Well, it does offer quite a few advanced functions. So you can send and receive emails. You can go on the internet using the web browser. You've got a voice recorder, which you mentioned earlier, to record voice clips and voice notes.
You've also got things like a weather app, a dictionary, color detector, book reader, music player. And there's also things like FM radio support. So if you want to plug in your headphones, you can listen to local stations, but you can also listen to online radio stations through Blind Shell's directory. And it's also got things like a flashlight feature, and you can control the phone with your voice. So you can dictate text messages and open apps. And there's also things like a unit converter and a handful of games as well, so things like Hangman and Dice Roller, memory games and things like that. But I mean, there is a big selling point though, isn't there, with the mobile, with this particular mobile phone?
That's right. I mean, one thing that sets this phone apart is for those people who don't want a full smartphone like the iPhone, but still want support for certain apps, this phone does have a list of apps that are supported. So at the moment, they have support for YouTube. And that's very accessible because they've written the YouTube app from scratch. So in other words, when you go in there, it's very easy to search for videos. And you can also play videos without the video portion playing. So you can just play the audio, which is quite a nice feature.
Yeah,
because it saves on battery life.
Yeah.
You've got a Telegram messaging app for those people that use Telegram as a messenger. We don't use it a lot in this country, but it's very popular abroad. You've got support for WhatsApp, which a lot of people do use to communicate with family across the world. You've got support for Amazon Shopping, Be My Eyes, which you can use to get sighted assistance from a volunteer around the world. You've got Facebook Messenger Lite support. Now that isn't support for full Facebook. What that means is, if you've got a Facebook account, it will let you send and receive messages using their messenger service. So it's not access to the full Facebook pages. It's just the messenger portion. It's got a fantastic app called Google Lookout, which you can use to read food packets or documents or your post or, well, anything really that you can point the camera at, because it's got a camera on the back. So a lot of people have actually complimented Google Lookout a friend of mine spent £2,000 on a scanner recently, and she swears by this phone. She said a phone that cost me less than a quarter of the price of my scanner that I've just shelled out on is doing a better job. So, she's she's very complimentary. There's a Shazam music recognition app, which will recognize a song that's playing if you hold it near speakers where the song's playing. You've also got support for Skype, for sending and receiving text and voice calls. You've got a podcast app as well, so you can subscribe to various podcasts from around the world. And it also supports Audible. So if you are an Audible subscriber, you can listen to your audiobooks on there as well. And the apps are quite usable, really.
Yeah,
they are adding apps all the time, aren't they? I mean,
yeah.
The reason why they've restricted it is because a lot of apps, with it being Android, what a lot of people fail to realize is that a lot of apps aren't accessible or truly accessible using Android. For example, there are quite a few unlabeled buttons and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's actually quite a useful.
Yeah, they've got their own catalog of apps basically. So they pick the ones that are the most accessible and exclude the ones that aren't. And the other thing as well is a lot of people ask what's changed between the Blind Shell 1 and the Blind Shell 2. So we'll very briefly cover that. So you've got the earpiece and speaker has been made much louder. The keys are much more tactile. They're a lot more easier to feel, especially people who had arthritis and things commented on the tactility of the phone now. It's a lot easier to feel if you have a low sense of touch in your fingers. They've got a very pronounced dot on number 5, for example. They've got a volume rocker on the side, on the left-hand side to turn volume up and down. They've got a dedicated button for dictation now on the right-hand edge. And you can also use that to make a list of your favorite apps as well. So you can quickly access it by pressing that button and going up and down through your list of favorite programs. And then you can just press select on one. Another really big one is that they actually have hearing aid support now. So you can actually connect up your hearing aid to the device and all the audio will come through that hearing aid. And the buttons are a lot more simpler as well. It's an easier layout to use. They've also got a few minor things as well, things like noise cancelling microphone, higher quality camera. The build quality is a lot better, so they can withstand quite a lot, really, considering what we get in the post and what people have done to them. The buttons no longer stick on the device. It has wireless AC support, wireless USB-C charging, so you can plug the cable into the phone either way. And the final thing I just wanted to cover was about the accessories for the phone. So you have a charging cradle, NFC tags, which are quite helpful for labeling things around your house. So you can put your phone to a particular label and it will read it out. So you record your own voice clip and then you can hear yourself reading out that particular item back to you. So coffee, tea, and sugar, for example. You can also use something called the Blind Shell Beep, which is a small tag you can put onto keys or wallets or whatever it may be, and you can essentially ring your wallet or keys using the phone, which is really cool. So that makes a noise and you can find that thing around the house, and the battery life on that is about 1 to 2 years. And we also do a number of cases as well for the phone. So the Blind Shell Classic 2 at the moment is £419.99. And some of the reasons as well to go through is you get training on arrival, you get an extended warranty, which is 2 years instead of the standard 1. You also get a free 32 GB memory card as well, as standard with every order.
Yeah, and it's 3 hours of training, isn't it, on arrival?
And 3 hours of training.
It's quite generous considering the price.
Fantastic. And that brings us to the end of that presentation. So I'll read out our contact details, and I'll read it out quite slowly, and I'll read it out twice. So our company name again is Taira Technology. So Taira is spelled T for Tango, A for Alpha, I for India, R for Romeo, A for Alpha. So TAIRA, and the word technology. And our phone number is 0343 289 7501. That's 0343 289 7501. And our website is tairatech.com. So the same spelling as before, TAIRATECH.com. Our email address is contact@tairatech.com, so same as the website spelling. And you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Taira Technology. So thank you very much, guys, for listening, and we'll be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, guys. That was an amazing presentation, and we really appreciate you talking about some of the products and support services that you can offer. Just to mention, everyone that's registered for this meeting today will receive a follow-up email with the audio YouTube recording of this presentation and meeting, and we'll also include some information that has just been read out, including some of the key points and key products that have been mentioned in tonight's meeting. So
fantastic.
Yeah, I'll grab that information from you guys, and that will all be added into our follow-up email. So if you didn't catch any of that information, then we will make sure that it's shared to everybody that's registered this evening. So
fantastic, thank you.
Oh, Sandra, I've got Sandra has got a hand up with a question. Sandra?
Hi guys. I've spoken to you both before, and I've had some very good advice from you both about support packages that I was looking for. I wasn't aware though of the full range of stuff that you do, and in particular, I'm interested in the work that you do around reconditioning people's existing products. I know that your main thing is obviously computers and phones, but I wondered whether you work with the old CCTV magnifiers, the desktop magnifiers.
We've been able to recondition certain ones in the past, but the main issue that we have is if companies have gone under, or, you know, for example, if it's harder to get parts. I mean, we could repair many different types of equipment, but we sometimes request that you send us the model number so we can have a look, you know, for example, if we can actually get parts for those devices, because sometimes if, for example, a chip inside's failed or the camera's failed and we can't get that particular camera, then it might not be something we could repair, really. So we'll always let you know beforehand if it's something we can actually help with.
With CCTVs, it's a bit difficult as well because they're so large. You know, sending them through the post is always a bit tricky. But if you've got other, I mean, in terms of other pieces of equipment, you know, we've managed to revive. I know Mo in particular has been able to revive Braille displays from the 90s and get them working with Windows 10, for example. So just because something has been, you know, sat to one side and not been used for a while doesn't mean to say it might not necessarily be working or compatible with modern equipment. It might just need setting up properly. So, you know, if you do have equipment that needs reconditioning or repairing, you know, we can often help with that. It's like Mo said, though, it is a bit trickier when the company's not in business anymore because the parts are a bit harder to come by. But yeah, we look on things on a case by case basis. You know, we're always open to having a chat with people.
Okay, well, I'll send an email with the model make and stuff. Brilliant. And see whether there's any help that you can give me with it.
Absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, fantastic. Look forward to hearing from you.
Do we have any queries or questions for the guys regarding any kind of technology or?
Hi, Mark. This is Krishna from Glasgow. I got a question for this gentleman. Can I go ahead? Yeah.
Yes. Sure. Yes, certainly. Shoot.
Yeah. Omar and Mo, thanks a lot for doing a grand job there. Really thoroughly enjoyed your presentation there. My difficulty is basically, you know, I struggle to basically read letters, you know, that come through the letterbox, letters and even books, you know. So basically, these gadgets, you know, that are available, actually, the likes of Clear Reader from Optelec and all that, you know, it's pretty expensive and beyond my means to buy, you know, these gadgets actually. Could you please suggest me something, you know, that you are making that's reasonably priced, that will help me to read letters, etc., without any difficulty? Yeah.
Sure. So there's a few things. There's a couple of different options you've got from memory. So it's sort of split into two halves. You've got the assistive technology devices. So devices that sit on a desktop and it's got a camera on it, and it will take the text from that particular image and read it out to you. You've also then got the mobile phones now. So the Blind Show, for example, has an app on there that we mentioned called Google Lookout. And I think Mo mentioned that his friend managed to get that working and reading out her post that comes, she takes a photograph of the letter and then it's read out to her, which is really great because the Blind Show is £420 and it's significantly cheaper than something, that you would buy that is a dedicated device to do that. The other thing that you could use is if you do have an iPhone already, you can use a app called Seeing AI. Many of you probably have used this app before, but there's a category on that app that you can use to read out certain text as well. I know Mo uses it to read certain text out on a television, for example, when it's not being read out. And there are Android devices as well that can do it, but there are.
There's other ways of doing it as well. For example, let's say you wanted to do it for a rather cheap price. If you buy a scanner for £70, you can actually connect that to a computer, so any Windows computer, and there are free programs available that convert the text that you put on that scanner, the document, into text. So the PC will read it back to you. So there's loads of ways of sort of tackling the issue. It depends on your budget. It depends on how you want to tackle it. It depends on what device you want to use. A lot of devices these days are capable. You could buy a very cheap Android phone for about £50 to £100, and that, again, although it's a touchscreen device, it may have an app on there. For example, like Google Lookout, you could install that and basically just read your documents. But it's also important to remember there's a company called VisionAid, and they are very helpful indeed. And what they often have is reconditioned equipment, so secondhand devices. So although they make machines that cost thousands, £1,500 to £2,000, they will often have the dedicated machines that sit on a desk with a camera on them. The last time I inquired, they were about £600 or £700. So it was a lot cheaper than buying their brand new kit. So there's a lot of options here. I've just sort of summarized and condensed them all.
Thanks a lot. And what is it okay for you if I just because obviously this is my kind of problem. So can I just give you a call one of these days, and probably we can go through these options, and probably if you can help me to select, the most optimal one. Is that possible at all, Mo? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. You can certainly give us a ring. If you've got, again, we'll send out our telephone number with Perm and the team. So if you give us a call, we'll have a chat through that. It's not a problem.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. I actually use Google Lookout myself, and it is an amazing app, and it can even pick up text on a washing machine display. So it doesn't just actually pick up printed text on a piece of paper. It can actually read an LCD display on an appliance. I've got 22 functions on my washing machine and I only ever use 2 of them. So it's ideal for things like that as well. It's an amazing little app.
It is.
And I would be lost without it. I've got other apps on my phone, but that one is key. I've got a quick question for you guys. You mentioned the mobile phone. Can I ask, is it waterproof? Is it IP rated at all? I'm quite clumsy with my phone. I've dropped it a few times, and the phone that I got is actually waterproof. I've dropped it in the washing up
because of the headphone jack and buttons. They can't make it waterproof, so it's not classed as rugged or super for outdoor weather. So because of the headphone jack and the way the buttons are designed, we wouldn't recommend dropping this anywhere if possible. Obviously, there's a difference between splash-proof and waterproof. So if you do take it out in the rain, if it's covered, and it gets the odd drop of water on it, it shouldn't do any damage. But if you do drop it in a cup of tea, it doesn't mix well with sugar. It wouldn't do that. So that could be quite interesting, actually. So it can't go for a bath.
Sorry to interrupt. I have a question for you, for both of you, actually. With your Blind Shell, the new one, does it actually accommodate navigation apps like Nazareno?
Not yet.
Soundscape.
That is on the roadmap, I think. but they haven't integrated that yet, purely because I think they're working on their own solution. We're not sure about a time frame either, really, for that. But for navigation, at the moment, the best device that we found is actually the iPhone or the Trek from Humanware. That's quite reliable. So although it could be a bit pricey, it might be worth investing in if you're serious about navigating the local area. A lot of people tend to just use an app on the iPhone or an alternative device, because Android phones are so cheap now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of apps on Android that are free of charge.
Yeah. We have mentioned that to Blanchard though about navigation, and they have reassured us that there is something coming. What the solution will be, we're not entirely sure, but we have mentioned it to them.
Yeah, I mean, how with the data, like with some of the apps that you can get, they're quite heavy on your data. Like Soundscape is very, very heavy on your data. So just be mindful, because I've got the iPhone, but for me personally, with the apps that you've mentioned, they have been really, really useful.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're seeing AI, if you don't get the edges in the right places, right edge not visible, left edge
it's fantastic.
It's a bit of a gambit, really, with trying to get it right into the frame.
That's right, but it's very helpful because it guides. This morning I was reading an invoice and it actually guided me quite accurately. It said, right, left edge not visible, so I moved it left a bit, and it said hold steady. And then as soon as I did that, I took the picture. It really is a fantastic app, and because it guides you step by step, I found that really helpful. Instead of just using tones or guesswork or whatever, to try and take a picture of a document in document mode, it really is fantastic.
Does it actually, with the blind shell, does it actually kind of, are you able to kind of download any Microsoft packages like Word and things?
No, because this phone is targeted at those people that have lost their sight or that are elderly or that want that reliability of a button phone. So, for example, a lot of visually impaired people keep an iPhone as backup, but they use this one as their primary phone for making calls, and because when you ring the bank and you've got to type in your account number or your customer number or whatever, or you've got to press 1 for this, 2 for that, 3 for that, it's nigh on impossible for some of our customers to do that on a touchscreen. So they actually keep 2 phones. I'm not saying people should do this, but different phones complement each other in different ways. On the iPhone, for example, although it's a fantastic piece of kit, there are certain times when I wish that the thing had buttons on it, because if I want to type privately in a public place, I have to use dictation. And I really wish that Apple brought back the headphone jack as well. I'd never forgive them for that, because I can plug my headphones in and get private listening. Now I've got to carry around a separate Bluetooth device to connect to my iPhone. So no device is going to be perfect.
No, I mean, the other thing as well is the biggest problem that you have when particularly with Android is that when you do end up using these apps, a lot of the time the developers themselves don't label certain graphics or buttons, and you'll get button 58, graphic, unlabeled graphic, and it'll just say graphic as you're going up and down. And so what Blindshell's approach was, well, if you've got somebody who's just getting started with technology, who's recently lost their sight, who wants something simple, and then they want to dip their toes into apps, they've sat there and tested each app to make sure it's actually labeled and fully working. And so they're introducing apps slowly to their catalog, but they're being quite selective. If you're looking for something a bit more open that's running Android, there's a new Capsys Smart Vision 3 that's been released, and that is a phone that has buttons and a touch screen, and you can use that to access Android apps. But the difficulty is you'll have the exact same problem that most technical people will have, is that you'll have developers who haven't labeled anything because they don't know how to develop things for blind people in mind, really, with alt text and things like that. So, I mean, those are the options, really. I mean, for people who want the apps with the buttons, the Smart Vision 3 is probably the best thing at the moment. That's coming out soon. They've just released that in the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's available from Sight and Sound. It is quite pricey, though. £500 for the basic one.
Yeah.
And £700 if you want all their advanced features in a carrying case. So it's just it comes in various different flavors.
Is that inclusive of VAT though? With
no,
any
that's excluding
no.
VAT. That's excluding VAT.
Okay.
So it can't get the prices can rise. A friend of mine's trying to buy one in Ireland, and they're quoting him over £1,000 for it. So anyway, that's another story.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
By all means.
I had the Real Sam on a 60-day eval start of the year. I actually sent it back after 30 days because it stopped working, but I was quite impressed with it. One of the things I was using was Talking Books, and it linked into the RNIB and Calibre and all sorts of different systems. Does the blind shell do the same?
It will do in future. Yeah, I mean, we've requested that Dolphin Easy Reader, which is the app that a lot of phones use, is integrated. So they're working on that, I believe, with Dolphin. Again, we can't give you a time frame because obviously that's Blind Shell's decision, but apparently it is coming in future.
Yeah, they've got Audible support though. If you have an Audible account and you want to listen to audiobooks through that platform, and I'm just trying to think, do they have a talking book app with Calibre support?
Not yet. I mean, as I say, they were trying to get Dolphin Easy Reader working on the phone. Once they've got that working, I think it'll be a fantastic device.
Yeah,
because that will then allow you to log into RNIB and Calibre and all the other various services.
But Audible is a chargeable account.
Audible is chargeable per month. Yeah.
And
but a lot of people subscribe for the choice, really.
Right, and you say that there's access to music as well. Would that be some like Spotify where you've got to pay?
No, sorry, I should have clarified. So what they've done on the phone is they've gone for the simple approach for a lot of people because a lot of people don't want to pay a subscription. So what they've done is they've given access to internet radio, but you can also copy your own albums onto the phone. So if you want to carry music around with you, that's why we supply the memory card, because you can copy it on there and take it around with you. So it doesn't integrate with services, but they do have support for YouTube and internet radio as well. So it's not totally done.
So like you could copy a CD, convert to MP3, and put it onto the phone.
That's exactly right. And you can do that with audiobooks as well. So if you want to carry an audiobook on the bus, but you don't want to take your MP3 player, you can plug your headphones into this thing and just listen to it that way.
Okay, thanks.
It's all right.
No worries.
Okay. Has anyone got any other questions for the guys?
If because I know a few people had problems with the microphones, we have got access to the chat facility as well. So if you do want to ask questions in chat, we can see that as well.
Or you can always give us a ring outside the meeting anyway. That you don't have to ask everything now. And we will be sending out a follow-up email with a leaflet and also some links, as Mark very kindly offered to do earlier. So we'll email Mark tomorrow with the resources.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you could pass on sort of any sort of information and overviews of what you've discussed, and that can go into the follow-up email as well. It is 8:05. I'll just run through a few things in regards to sort of Retina UK services. Thanks guys for your presentation. It was absolutely amazing. I really did appreciate your talk and for the time this evening. If anybody requires any further support from Retina UK in regards to research news or any of our support services, the two that I mentioned, our Talk and Support Befriending service, or if you would like to join any other groups that are actually running online that you might find interesting, we are going to be running our second autumn national peer group at the end of September, which is going to be on Thursday the 29th. And we are going to be speaking to a lovely lady called Lindsay Davies, who is going to talk about money matters and your financial well-being, especially in the times we're living in at the moment. So if that's something you're interested in, that will be coming available on our website very soon. We also, I'll pass it on to Permit in a minute, who will talk about our first upcoming in-person meeting. But if you want to get in touch with Retina UK, there's certain ways you can do that. You can call our helpline, which is available 9:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night, Monday to Friday, and that is 0300 111 4000. You can call us in the office Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. And our office number is 01280 821 334, or you can email us at info@retinauk.org.uk, or you can visit our website www.retinauk.org.uk and find out what news and events that are coming up in due course. Please sign up to our mailing list, where you'll receive our e-newsletter and our Look Forward magazine, which is available in a variety of different formats, including large print, audio and digital download as well. And like I say, we will be launching new events. You guys mentioned Site Village. we also do attend those. So if you've near a site village coming up over the next couple of months, come and say hello. And now I'll pass over to Perm, who will talk a little bit about our upcoming in-person meeting the beginning of October.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to thank Mo and also Omar for their amazing talk. I mean, thank you so much. And, you know, you're quite inspirational characters, so thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
You know, it was amazing. I mean, I always learn something, and I think with technology, especially in the times that we're living, you know, it's quite useful for people who are blind, visually impaired to know what technology is available and how accessible it is. For our next up and coming meeting, it's going to be face-to-face, and the date will be in October. It's the 6th of October, 2022, and it will be at a local museum, and it's called the Coffin Works. I know it sounds quite gory because it's nearing Halloween, but the actual Coffin Works is Newman Brothers, and they used to make coffin furniture. And the person will be taking us around on a guided tour. I've actually been doing some inclusive vision awareness training with their volunteers, and a lot of the actual stuff that they have is very tactile. It is a grade 1 listed building, and it's actually based in Fleet Street, and numbers will be limited. So if anyone is interested, I will be posting it in the usual way to the groups that I have done before. But again, registration is absolutely essential. And Mark and Caroline are actually coming up for our first face-to-face meeting. There will be a concessionary price, which will include a drink, because they do have a brand new coffee bar, and we'll all get together and congregate there. And I'll be booking details in the next couple of weeks. So Mark, you're coming up especially for that with Caroline.
Yes,
and you know, I really thank you for that as well. And I'm nervous about it, I'm going to be honest.
No, you will be graded at the end. Don't worry, we will grade you at the end. No, really looking forward to meeting you guys, the whole group, and having a wander around and experiencing a tactile experience as well. Like I say, I'm living with a sight loss condition, so it will be a great experience for me, and for moving on with doing similar experiences in other areas for other groups as well. So really looking forward to it, and I think we all are. We're popping to the pub up the road as well. You've recommended a lovely pub experience, so that's something. It's nothing like getting a tactile fingers around a pint glass. Looking forward to that.
It's been refurbished. It's just around the corner, which I've actually timed it with my cane. It takes 5 minutes, and that's like a generous pace. But I have to be honest with you, they also do vegan food. So, and you know, if anyone has got dietary requirements, they do vegan food, and it is reasonably priced as well. But you know, so if you want to partake in a beverage afterwards, please do. But you know, I will be posting this soon, and there is a small charge, but the maximum numbers is up to 15. So, you know, please do it on a first come, first served basis. But I'd like to thank everyone tonight. You know, I'm really happy with our newcomers as well. And hopefully we'll see you all face to face in the autumn. So yes, Mark. So I'm not sure how we're doing for time, but if anyone wants to stay on afterwards for a few minutes, we will be around to have a chit chat or anything really.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, thank you everybody for attending our third meeting. We really do appreciate you taking the time out this evening to join us. And if you haven't eaten yet, please feel free to go and have your dinner. I'm sure if you're getting hungry, then please go and have your dinner, and hopefully we'll see you soon. So we really do appreciate you coming. Thanks again, guys, for your talk. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
No worries, you're very welcome, and we look forward to seeing you soon, guys.
And
thank you
we'll
very
catch
much
up with everyone soon. Thank you so much for coming, and good evening, and have a lovely evening.
No worries, have a nice evening.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
We hope you have enjoyed this recording. If you have any questions, queries, or wish to leave any feedback, then please leave it in the comment section below. Alternatively, you can send your inquiries to info@retinauk.org.uk. Contact us via the telephone on 01280 821 334 or call our helpline on 0300 111 4000, which is open Monday to Friday 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. If you would like to know more about our local peer groups, when your next meeting will be held, or if you wish to get involved in creating your own group, or would like to know more about our services that Retina UK provides, then please visit our information and support page on our website www.retinauk.org.uk and navigate to our local peer group page. Thanks again for listening. We hope to see you again soon. Take care and bye for now.